time constraints. We now move ahead in the action.
And another attempt at the rubber match. And here's Andrew Wiggins. And no sophomore slump for him, at least for the first half of the season.
Yeah, Mr. Saxophone himself, and Andrew Wiggins, talented on and off the field. And he has been a mainstay as of late over the last couple of weeks at the top of the Indiana lineup.
Nick Rodecap, one of the day-to-day reporters on Indiana baseball, did a fun story on how Wiggins balances his talents on the field and then, you know, can relax and serenade even with the saxophone. And when he was at Heritage Christian High School, even played the national anthem. Wiggins watched that second go, 1-1 count.
Played the national anthem and then played the game afterwards. Played the national anthem.
That was in the city championship as well.
In the uniform.
Fouled out by Wiggins, 1-2.
It's a similar thought process as we talked about with Grable. This is a guy in Govell that is not going to throw many balls. He's going to attack you in the zone. 19 strikeouts to 4 walks on the season. He's going to bring it in the zone and force you to hit it.
That was another thing that when we talked to head coach Andy Stankiewicz of the Trojans, that's what his pitchers do well, is they command the zone and they force the offense to make some plays on it. 2-2. Wiggins watches that, goes, and that's a strikeout looking backwards, K.
Number 2 on that list was Devin Taylor. Didn't have to go too far to find the Indiana left fielder.
First pitch is low. 1-0 count for Taylor. He just seems to have gotten better each year. He came in highly touted and put on a clinic his freshman season. Exploded his sophomore year, and you know, he's 3 home runs from breaking the all-time record in Indiana home runs. Powerful swing there by Taylor. Misses on that. 2-1 count.
Taylor, the crazy part about him is his adaptability. I mean, you think about that freshman year, he comes in, sets the world on fire, sets the Big Ten on fire. And typically in that sophomore year, you come back, teams adjust, they have film on you.
Taylor sends that one deep left, making a play at it, can't do it. Devin Taylor goes yard. It's tied up here at Bart Kaufman. Nice crowd. Taylor just 1 away from tying the record. Basir tried to make a play on that, Zach.
That was a spectacular effort by Basir out there in left field. I thought for a moment he had potentially a beat on that short wall out there in left field. It is navigable for those outfielders out there, but Devin Taylor, we were talking about it. The consistency is what's crazy about him. This is a guy, he's got so much power. That's a line drive that just he muscles out the other way. The opposite field power that Taylor possesses is second to none, not only in the Big Ten, but around the country. It's unprecedented what he's able to do to spray home runs all across the ballpark. You look at the outfield here at Bart Kaufman Field, he's hit home run to left. He's hit one to dead center. Right field, he's definitely planted a handful of home runs over there. It's the power to all parks that separates Taylor from the rest.
It's Corbin Dickerson, center fielder, taking a chop at that one after swinging on the first. 0-2 count for Dickerson. Transfer from Louisville, having a very strong campaign as well. And Taylor, that was his 10th home run of the season and 46th of his career. 47 is the number to match to be in that tied rankings for the all-time record. And, well, he's one step closer. Dickerson now with the 1-2 count. That one's low. Off the plate, 2-2.
Of course, Joe, we mentioned that on that D1 baseball ranking of top 100 outfielders, Devin Taylor was second. Not too far behind him was this guy. Top 10 as well, Corbin Dickerson.
Dickerson lines it over into right center field. That's going to be some extra bases for the center fielder. Reaching to second base. And this is where it gets dangerous for that Indiana offense. Now you have Jake Hanley due up.
Well, that's the crazy part. You have a guy in Devin Taylor. He goes deep the other way. Obviously, Taylor's, we've talked about it, a spectacular player. Dickerson's come in, I don't want to say out of nowhere, but he did struggle last season at Louisville. He's jumped off to a fantastic start this season. They're hitting 2 and 3 in the Indiana lineup. But this guy right here, the cleanup hitter, Jake Hanley, he leads the team in hits. This is a guy that is hitting over 400 on the season. And as a true freshman who came in, Jeff Mercer was thinking defensively it would be the better side of the ball for him. He thought he'd come in, be an anchor defensively. There'd be a couple growing pains as the season went on offensively. But there's been absolutely zero growing pains for this guy at the plate.
Zach, not only does Hanley lead the team in hits, he leads the Big Ten Conference in hits as well as a freshman, which is terrific, and he has put on an absolute clinic this week. And yesterday in that doubleheader had 6 hits, 2 home runs, and 6 RBI. I mean, you can't make those numbers up.
He's hitting .570 over his last 5 games. It's pretty all right.
Impressive to say the least. Swinging on the second pitch, 1-1 count for Hanley, 1 out. Dickerson at second base. As Gavell, pitch count starting to rack up a little bit here in this first inning at 14. Fouled off his Hanley.
I think what's been impressive for Hanley this season, it's not just the average, 404. The average is there. It's been skyrocketing as of late, but it's the 6 home runs as well. You're a 6'5", 6'6" first baseman. You're expected, I guess, to probably have a little bit of power in that bat, but that pull side power to right field, right center has been fantastic. It's been a surprise, a pleasant surprise for Mercer and the Hoosiers.
Pitches outside, 2-2 count for Hanley. He's the biggest player on this team, 6'6", 235. I mean, that is a college defensive end build. And he's having an outstanding first season. Full count for Hanley, a lot of patience there at the plate. You know, with the looming inclement weather, still a solid showing here at Bart Kaufman Field. Pretty full stands, overcast day. It was nice out, at least pretty sunny, sun poking through the clouds. Hanley takes a walk. Runners on first and second will be Jake Hanley and Corbin Dickerson. As Tyler Cerny, the vet, up to hit for the Hoosiers.
It's a professional at-bat right there from Jake Hanley. Just a professional. We'll talk about it throughout this broadcast. But the underclassmen on this Indiana roster have been spectacular. That's a professional at-bat from a guy in Hanley who hasn't even played 30 collegiate games yet.
John Elliott, the catcher, having a quick chat with Gavell after giving up a home run, a double, and a walk on 3 consecutive batters faced. Cerny watches that first pitch go, 0-1 count.
And the thought process with Gavell going on this Sunday was the fact that he was spectacular his last time out. Last weekend against Nebraska, 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, no runs allowed. He didn't give up an extra base hit in that game against the Cornhuskers.
Cerny gets some power on that one. That's going to be pulled right. Fouled.
As I was saying, though, Joe, he didn't give up an extra base hit in that game against Nebraska last week, and he's already given up 2 in this first inning.
See how quick Stankiewicz decides to make any sort of change. Doesn't look like there's much activity over in the USC bullpen as Cerny. That's going to go foul as well. Aggressive at-bat here for Tyler Cerny, a Greenwood, Indiana native, and for any Indiana Hoosier fans, they know that city well, especially with recency considering a basketball player from there. 0-2 count for Cerny, 1 out. Cerny lines that into left field. That's going to be caught there by Basir. Dickerson and Hanley return back to second and first respectively. 2 outs on the board for Gavell in this Trojans defense. As Joey Brzezinski, the designated hitter, the sophomore who had a terrific freshman season, up for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, Joey B, as Indiana and Jeff Mercer like to call him, he's had a difficult time kind of breaking through for consistent playing time this season. He's been fantastic when he's played. You see the numbers right there. He's been fantastic, a switch hitter hitting from the left side of the plate here. But he's just had a little bit of difficult time. This is his 24th appearance, his 17th start. Indiana's got so much talent up and down their lineup. The outfield's crowded with Wiggins, with Dickerson, with Taylor. Brzezinski doesn't necessarily have a specific position defensively. He can play the outfield. He can play a little bit of first base, but with Hanley the way he's been hitting and obviously the outfield spots, it's kind of been DH only so far this season for Bryncheski. And Hogan Denny, another true freshman, he's locked up the DH spot for a good chunk of the season. But when Bryncheski's been in the game, he's been impactful for the Hoosiers, especially with runners in scoring position.
Big swing there by Bryncheski. First strike, 2-1 count.
To put it into perspective, Joe, on the season, Bryncheski hitting .522 with runners in scoring position. Obviously, Dickerson out there at second in scoring position now.
2-1 count for Joey B. That one's inside, 3-1. You can see, even if it's the inexperienced guys, the maturity at the bat, it looks like they've been here more than they've been here.
It's all part of the development process.
3-1 count for Bryncheski. Swinging. That one was downstairs as well. 3-2. Full count for the sophomore from Fishers, Indiana.
Good pitch there by Govell. Going off speed, knowing that in a 3-1 count, given how productive Bryncheski is in these situations, he probably had the green light there.
Bryncheski fouls that one out.
Of course, 3-2 count, runners in motion, so if Bryncheski can find a gap out there in the outfield,
he's going to get at least one.
You're looking for probably both there. Hanley would likely score from first.
Full count with 2 outs. Runners on first and second for the Hoosiers. 1-1 game. Bryncheski watches that one. Bases juiced for Cooper Malamazian. The shortstop for the Hoosiers.
Again, it goes back to the professional at-bats. Govell, a typical strike thrower. Again, we talked about it coming into the game, 19 strikes to 4 walks. 19 strikeouts to 4 walks on the season. He's already walked 2 today, and he's walked 2 consecutive batters. When Devin Taylor goes deep and then Corbin Dickerson smashes a double, it makes you think twice about coming into the zone if you're a pitcher.
Malamazian had a very good outing in the second of the doubleheader. 3 hits and 2 RBI in that win to even up the series for Indiana, and he's making his 17th consecutive start at shortstop after Tyler Cerny moved over to second base for some of the struggles that Jason Oliver, who originally started at second base this season, were having. And he's kind of fit into his own molding as a freshman as it's 1-1 count.
We talked with both him and Tyler Cerny last night, and they said with the recent change, Malamazian now at short, Cerny now at second, they both feel comfortable, they both feel confident in each other. In fact, they turned a 4-6-3 double play yesterday.
2-1 count for Malamazian. Govell already with 31 pitches thrown in this first inning. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Trying to get out of this jam. Another outside pitch. 3-1 for Malamazian. And
this will be interesting, Joe. Does Jeff Mercer, does Blake Allen, the hitting coach for the Hoosiers, trust their true freshman enough? He's hitting .371 on the season.
Yeah, second on the team.
Not a typical true freshman. Do they trust him enough to give him the green light 3-1 here with 2 outs?
3-1 count for Malamazian. Looks like he had the green light there. Solid contact that's going to foul, though. So full count, 2 outs. Bases loaded for Indiana. Govell looking to get out of this jam.
I think that's important. That's telling. As a coach, you're telling your true freshman, I have confidence in you in this situation. It's a big, big key.
Malamazian watches that go. A mature at-bat from the freshman, and that is going to bring Corbin Dickerson home. Indiana takes the lead in the bottom of the first inning as third baseman Will Moore.
Probably, though, don't want to have Devin Taylor, who already took him deep in this inning, don't want to have him face him again. It's an important at-bat right here. This is a young guy in Will Moore.
Yep.
In the lineup more so for his defensive ability at third base, at the hot corner. He's a true freshman. The bat slowly improving, though, as the season's gone on.
Moore sends that one into the gap. That's going to bring 2 home. Will Moore with a nice RBI, a 2 RBI single, bringing Joey Bryncheski and Jake Hanley home. and advancing Cooper Malamazian to second base. Indiana extends their lead to 4-1, 3-run lead.
And again, Joe, we talk about the depth of the lineup. When the graphic was up earlier, I was like, where's the weakness in this lineup? The weakness, maybe if you're an opposing team, you would look at the 8-9 spots in Will Moore and TJ Schuyler, but that's a true freshman in Will Moore who's hitting 267 on the season. So 2 RBI base hit right back up the middle. That's exactly what you teach. That's exactly what they teach you, right back up the middle.
TJ Schuyler, the bottom of the order for Indiana. They've reached all 9 batters in this first inning, up 4-1. 2 outs still on the board. That one's downstairs at the ground before it even crossed the plate.
And it's a sticky situation here for Stankiewicz and the Trojans because you can't win the game in the first inning, but you can certainly lose the game in the first inning if you're USC here. You don't want to fall behind too much, especially with Indiana having Grable on the mound.
A chopper from Schuyler, as Hedge is just going to tap third for the force out, and that will wrap up the first inning. Indiana with a 4-1 lead.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Probably a little bit earlier than you were anticipating, and all of a sudden you got to face 1, 2, 3 in the order.
Some eye candy over there with Taylor out at first. Dickerson, it's a nice line out. That's deep, back at the wall, that's over. A home run for Corbin Dickerson, 2-run shot. Indiana extends their lead, 6-1. That was out in center field, another missile here at Bart Kaufman Field.
Well, Joe, he one-upped himself. I talked about the double back in the first being 107 off the bat. That went 108 off the bat, 404 feet. We thank Josh Post for giving us that little nugget right there. The 2 through 3 in this lineup, Taylor and Dickerson, they've been fantastic all season. They're one of the best 1-2 punches in the country, and they're putting it on full display here in this Sunday matchup, or Saturday matchup, but it feels like a Sunday because it's game 3 of the series.
It does feel like a Sunday considering the doubleheader, but alas, it is Qual Saturday. If you didn't know, there's a Little 500 qualifications happening just across the street over at Bill Armstrong Stadium. A busy weekend here in Bloomington. Trying to fit everything in before the weather comes in. 3-1 count for Hanley, who walked in his first at-bat just in the first inning. Powerful swing. It's over to Covarrubias, makes a play on it. Second out on the board for the Trojans off the shift right there.
And it's interesting, Joe, we talk about the dichotomy of this team. We talked about the freshmen and the youth of this lineup, but it's really been the veterans. We talk about Taylor and Dickerson. They have 3 of the 4 hits so far today. The other guys, they've just been a lot of walks. Obviously, Will Moore, a true freshman, had that 2 RBI base hit back in the first as well. But Taylor and Dickerson, they're going to get theirs, and it's up to the other guys to really be on base for them when that happens. And, yeah, they've done their job today.
1-1 count for Tyler Cerny. Lined out in the first inning. That's a deep shot. Making a play on it, though, was Brayden Dowd for the final out at the warning track, leaping at the wall. Nice defensive grab there by Dowd. Getting out of it. 2 runs allowed, though. Indiana leading 6-1 after 2.
Due Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Like when it gets into the stages of these middle innings, as Covarrubias has Taylor at the warning track, and that's a deep shot into left field. Covarrubias adds another for the Trojans. Like we said, chipping away at that lead. It's now 6-3. Indiana leads still.
Just Covarrubias' second long ball of the season, 374 feet, 98 miles an hour off the bat. But again, a short porch out there and left. It doesn't take much to muscle it out of Bart Kaufman field down the right or left field lines. Gubatosi, I mean, the mindset is come in and challenge him. That's one slightly on the inner third of the plate, and Covarrubias turned on it. Not getting that one back are the Hoosiers.
Only his second home run of the season. I mean, I'd say, you know, it feels like all these times are important times when you're trailing 6-2, now 6-3 is big swing there by Elliott.
It goes back to what I was saying earlier. Gubatosi, he's not concerned about a solo home run. Right. The issues start to arise if you give up a walk and then hit a batter and then you give up the home run, and all of a sudden it's a much closer game. The solo shots aren't going to hurt you if you're Indiana in this situation.
1-2 count for Elliott. Got on base in his first at-bat. Fouling off, staying alive. And yeah, like you mentioned, when only giving up solo shots, it's a lot harder to come back when it's the extra base hits, it's the multi-shot home runs where you see that 4, 5, 6 run lead dwindle into nothing. Is, you know, that ball would have gone right to us if there was no net.
Would you have caught it?
I think so. I think it was slow enough where I probably would have done 2 hands for security, like a real OG would. But if I needed one hand, if I needed to reach out and save you, I think I could.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad I can trust you in that sense.
Yeah. 2-2 count, patience here by Elliott in his at-bat.
Elliott, he's trying to flip the lineup card over here. This is an opportunity for the Trojans. If Elliott's able to get on, you bring up Dowd, you bring up Hedges.
And both of them have had very solid starts as Gubatosi just falls.
Misplanted, it looked like.
His foot, and he looks a little shaken up. Gingerly strut back to the mound. And this sack is where the mental part of the game becomes so big.
Yeah, you got to trust your mechanics, trust that lead foot, trust that plant foot. You got a 3-2 count.
Full count here. Elliott gets a nice chop at it. Wiggins having to fly over, makes the grab over in right field. 2 outs on the board. Two outs for the Indiana defense. That was a full count, and Wiggins, just an athletic player out in right field, making that grab.
That's a good swing right there by Elliott, going the other way, just poking it down that right field line. But you mentioned the athleticism of Wiggins. That's what's really set him apart. That's what's really earned him the consistent and significant playing time this season. He's always been a great hitter at the plate. It's could he become a good defender as well, and he's been great defensively out there at the corner outfield spot for Indiana. That's really earned him that trust of Jeff Mercer and that more consistent playing time this season.
Brayden Dowd, who has walked and struck out here so far today, fouls that one up. 0-2 count, 2 outs. And 1 run scored here by the Trojans in this top of the 4th. Gooby, I keep thinking I'm hearing Doobie, like Scooby-Dooby-Doo. But it's not. Alas, I'm wrong. 1-2 count. Dowd takes the ball.
Gubatosi, it's long enough, it's tongue-twistery enough, it's got to be a nickname.
Tongue-twistery.
I
don't think I've...
You heard that.
Is that a word?
No, definitely not.
I'll allow it, though. And if we can thesauricize that into...
That's not a word either.
That's not a word either.
We'll add it to the Webster dictionary.
We might as well. 2-2 count here for Dowd. That one's upstairs. Dowd going to take a second.
Gubitosi going back for that Ross, and he's looked uncomfortable. It's weird. Obviously, the misplant, the plant foot issue that he had just a batter ago, that one looked like it sailed out of his hands a little bit. He's been a little erratic, and that's a walk.
That one outside is Dowd. A lot of patience there. Back-to-back walks for Dowd.
That was an important at-bat there. That was an important hitter for Gubitosi to try and attack, because you got Ethan Hedges coming up. He's done damage both times he's been up today.
Both times when he faced Grable. Got a home run and then an RBI single. See what else he can add. Obviously, with a runner on base and how talented he's been this season, it's dangerous. Lefty on righty, though, is Gubitosi playing no funny business with Brayden Dowd. Hedges, he just, to reiterate, has had a terrific, terrific weekend. Strong shot is fouled by Hedges. 0-1 count it will be.
And again, just to reiterate, he's a two-way player. Not only does he have the capability to do this at the plate, 2 for 2, the solo shot, the RBI single, but if USC finds itself in a situation with a lead late, he could come in and get the final 3 outs and get the save.
He's had a very interesting series. In both games, he's had 3 hits, 2 RBI, and a home run. Right now, sitting at 2 RBI and 2 hits. All it is that last hit, and that's a, deja vu.
Consistency.
Consistency is key. Aiden Decker-Petty warming up in the pen. As Gubitosi is trying to get out of this one. 0-2 count for Hedges. Again, making sure that Dowd is not trying to slip away for any extra bases.
And Indiana probably didn't get the length they were looking for from Brayden Grable. 3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 runs allowed, 4 strikeouts, 3 walks. So it becomes a matter of piecing together the final 5-6 innings.
Again, Gubitosi looking to pick off. Dowd has only attempted 4 stolen bases this season, 2 successful attempts. Not really an avid base runner, but enough of a threat in the eye line of Gubitosi. It's Hedges swinging, really the first mistake of Hedges' day so far. Gets out of that one, 1 run allowed. Indiana still leading 6-3 after the strikeout.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
First pitch is low, so 3-1 count for Wiggins. Really unprecedented pitching change, but Matson has to deal the cards he's dealt, play the cards he's dealt. Wiggins takes that one. Full count, though, for Wiggins, still looking for his first hit of the afternoon. Wind starting to pick up out at Bart Kaufman Field. A chopper by Wiggins. Play is made. Matson gets over to first base. Can't make the grab. Wiggins gets to first safely. As now the home plate umpire is going to have a brief conversation, just signaling safe.
Gets the thumbs up from Jeff Mercer, the thumbs up of approval there from the Indiana third base side dugout. Because Mercer was concerned that they hadn't made a quit call.
They take their time, making sure as Devin Taylor homered in the first, walked in the second. He's facing Sax Matson for the first time.
And this is why Matson comes in. He faces the left-handed hitters.
That one was very inside Taylor with those quick reflexes. 1-0 count. Matson the lefty. Something a little different from what Ebner was throwing at him. Just a soft hit by Taylor, and he gets safe. I don't know if he tried to bunt that one, but Elliott was not able to make a great throw on it. So runners first and second, leading Corbin Dickerson, who just is fresh off a home run.
This is a peculiar play. Matson took an odd angle at the ball. The catcher moving forward has to throw off balance. Elliott's put in a tough place there. And we talked about it in the open, Joe. These West Coast teams, they come in, they're typically, you know, defense teams. They're slick infielders. That's what Jeff Mercer talked about, especially with UCLA, USC. The same, they're slick infielders. That's what the West Coast, those baseball teams are known for. But it has not been clean defensively in this inning at all. That will go down officially as a single. It's a tough play for Elliott, but not clean defense at all.
A pair of mishaps in the infield from this Trojan defense. Dickerson takes a swing on that one. Off the off-speed 1-1 count for Corbin. And he's having himself a day as well.
And it's funny, going back to Devin Taylor real quick, he had that home run in the first that was probably around 100 miles an hour off the bat, and then gets a base hit. That ball was hit 40 miles an hour off the bat, if that.
Corbin Dickerson, a shot to right center field. No play at the wall. Dickerson with his second home run, back-to-back. A 3-run shot.
Yeah, Joe, he's kind of good. This 2-3 spot, we've talked about it so much. Devin Taylor, Corbin Dickerson, one of the best 1-2 punches in the conference. And that's now home run number 13 for Dickerson on the season, which moves him into the Big Ten lead. He's been a revelation this season for the Hoosiers, coming over from Louisville this offseason. That one, just another shot. He's hit one to center. He's hit one to right center. He's doing it all for Indiana. That's now 3 extra base hits, 2 home runs, and a double for Dickerson.
5 RBI on the day. He is 46 on the season. A nice, comfortable setting he's been at is Jake Hanley. Know just how dangerous he's been this season. Lead is up to 7. Largest lead of the day for the Hoosiers after the Dickerson home run. 10-3 is the lead.
Joe, still no outs in this inning. Indiana so far this inning in this 4th. Single, reached on an error. Single, 3-run homer. It's also interesting right now, Jake Hanley up. The lefty pulled or shifted to pull the infielders. There's 3 of them on the right side. So I guess Hanley's at the point in his career now where there's information on him.
Hanley finds the gap into shallow center field. That's a base hit for the freshman. His first hit of the afternoon. And here comes Tyler Cerny up to the plate. Still looking for his first hit of the day.
After Andrew Wiggins reached on that air, Cerny is now the lone Hoosier that hasn't reached base safely so far today.
Big swing is a strike for Matson, and like you said, still no outs in this inning for Sax Matson, who's already kind of racking up the pitches. Cerny, that is gone. 2-run shot. That was gone the moment it left his bat into left field. Indiana leading 12-3 now.
A no-doubt shot for Cerny. I talked about it. He was the only one prior to that at bat that hadn't reached base so far today for Indiana. His hitting streak's now up to 9. He had 4 hits in yesterday's second game, 5 hits in total yesterday. He's been picking it up as of late.
On Tyler Cerny's recent performance in the past stretch of games, we have Audrey Marr on the sidelines. for some more on Cerny. Audrey.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Well, you have both certainly hit on it. Tyler Cerny has been a spark for the Hoosiers as of late, and it's something that the Hoosiers have certainly needed with the injury in the infield of Josh Pine. As a result, Cerny has made the switch from shortstop to second base, and for Cerny, it certainly has not thrown him off. Earlier this week, he said that he's comfortable with the switch. He's comfortable with wherever the team needs him to play, but it's not the position switch that Cerny has attributed his recent success to. It's the mental switch. He knows that at this point of the season, expectations are high and pressure is there. So Tyler Cerny has certainly been answering the call, and we've seen it here on the field today, guys.
Thanks, Audrey. It's Hogan Denny at the DH now, the freshman instead of Brincheski. And you saw on that highlight reel, that play against Ohio State, that double play, that was ridiculous.
And then
that was crazy.
The over-the-head catch was somehow even better. He's been fantastic defensively. He started out slow defensively. He wasn't his typical self to begin the season, but he's been really good defensively as of late, back to what he typically is in the field, and the success at the plate has kind of followed.
And I mean, even in the midweek on Tuesday, he had an inside the park home run as Denny chops that one, 2-2 count fouls.
He joked with us after that earlier this week that he needed an oxygen tank after circling the bases there on that inside the Parker.
I feel like it's, it's probably tougher than we think. You got to go 90, 90, 90, 90, a whole 360. It's a 120-yard dash and rounding corners.
It's longer than a football field.
That is. That's going from back of the end zone to back of the end zone. I mean, tough sprint right there. Denny sends that over. Grud-Zelenik makes a play, getting the first out of the inning by Hogan Denny. It's been a big inning for the Indiana Bats. 6 runs scored, a 12-3 lead, and the third pitcher that this Hoosiers offense will be facing in just this inning alone. Michael Ebner had that, not even sure what, potential injury, don't want to speculate too much. And then Sax Matson, a short-lived 1-out, third of an inning afternoon. And that leads us to Andrew Johnson, pitching with a bit of a vengeance, though. 2 balls. It's a 2-0 count from Malmazian. Good contact by the freshman. Drops into shallow right field. A base hit on Johnson's first batter faced. Just a big fourth inning, an explosive fourth inning for this Indiana Bats, Zach.
And it's not completely uncommon either. That's the thing. This Indiana offense has shown this season when they're at their best, they have no holes. 1 through 9, this Indiana offense can do exactly what they're doing right now to USC. This is a USC team that's one of the better pitching teams in the conference.
It's Will Moore, showed bunt, foul tip the bunt. Waving over to the WIUX broadcasters, Zion Brown and Kevin Vera. You might have heard their voices all Friday. They were on the call on Big Ten Plus for the first 2 games of this series. Moore watches that one. That's going to be a stolen base there by Malmazian. Now in scoring position is the freshman with the freshman Moore. See if you can send him home.
Yeah, a wild pitch there from Johnson. It's something he struggled with a little bit as of late. His last time out, it was against UC Irvine earlier this week. He went 3 innings, gave up 8 hits, 6 earned runs. He's looking to get back on track because before that, he was fantastic for USC. Just kind of one blemish on his ledger so far this season was that game against UC Irvine earlier this week.
Only the second stolen base for Malmazian this season and really his Indiana career. 2-1 count for Moore. That one's upstairs, 3-1 now, and this is what Moore's been doing, at least today. He's been very patient at the plate. We've mentioned just how despite being underclassmen, whether it is Moore or Malmazian, they seem poised and disciplined when they get into that box. Powerful chop, fouls off, full count, 1 out on the board, and Malmazian at second.
And this is not common. I guess Indiana fans might have become accustomed to it with the likes of Devin Taylor, Tyler Cerny. When these guys come in, they show up, they compete, they earn playing time right away. But what Indiana's freshman class has done this season with Hanley, with Malmazian, with Moore, with Denny, this is not usual. This is not typical.
Gets that one over to Covarrubias. However, Malmazian is able to advance. 2 outs now after Moore lines out to Covarrubias. Malmazian on third. TJ Schuyler at the 9-hole hitter.
Back up for the second time this inning. Of course, if you remember, Joe, he led off this inning with a single. Feels like an hour ago.
Another full inning, the second time in this game. The first and the fourth have been able to completely go through the order. And this one even and some. Schuyler takes that one, 1-1 count. Schuyler started this inning seeing Michael Ebner, and now we're two pitchers later. On to Andrew Johnson.
Not the 17th president.
Not the 17th president. I thought it might have been, reading the roster. Got excited, thought about an autograph, and then remembered. Andrew Johnson did not play baseball at USC. The president, Andrew Johnson, that is. But this Andrew Johnson does. 2-1 count for Schuyler, takes that 3-1.
In Johnson's off time, he likes to watch Batman. Now, I was curious. It just
Which
says
one?
Batman.
Exactly. This could be the old school 60s where they have the bang and the pow pop up when something happens. Noted. Powerful swing there by Schuyler, as our producer William Stewart told us that USC was not founded when Andrew Johnson was president. That does make sense considering the westward expansion that the United States had. A little history lesson right there. Don't know the exact the lineup of the two events. That's a strikeout by Schuyler. Andrew Johnson, the pitcher, closes that one with a K.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
On the bats. It's going to need more than just him, though. Brayden Dowd to hit bases loaded for Aiden Decker-Petty's first pitch of the afternoon here at the top of the sixth. That one hits the foot of Dowd. Hit by pitch. That's going to lead to a score by Maximo Martinez as all the runners advance. Bases still loaded.
It's not the way that Aiden Decker-Petty wanted to start his outing out of the bullpen.
One pitch, one hit by pitch.
This is where you start to, if you're Indiana, get a little bit uneasy. Yes, you have an 8-run lead, but one swing of the bat here from a guy that's already hit 3 home runs this weekend could cut that in half.
Hedges watches that one for the strike. It's a nice spin on that pitch by ADP. 0-1. Hedges again had that home run in the top of the first to get things going. That one swung on nicely, sending Dickerson back to the warning track. He makes the grab, however, will be a sac fly. Able to send home Covarrubias and advance Elliott. A 1-run sacrifice fly, 2 outs. Runners on the corners for the Trojans.
It's one of those situations where Indiana is more than content to trade an out for a run. You get that second out, that ever-important second out.
And again, it's only 1 run, or 2 runs this inning now. Adrian Lopez, nice swing on that Over to right field, trying to make a play was Dickerson. Can't. Wiggins having to rifle it in. Runner's going to score here for the Trojans. Adding some more insurance. Brayden Dowd gets home off the Lopez RBI double. Dowd and Elliott get home. A two-run RBI double. It's now 12-7, 4-run inning for the Trojans.
And again, this is all it's about. You score 4 here in the 6th. You come back out in the 7th, maybe cut in a little bit more. I mean, it's already a 5-run game.
Just the type of inning that the Trojans were looking for, really. This whole game, Jack Basir up. That one's fouled off. Already some motion in the bullpen for Indiana as well.
And it's hard to not blame, but Brayden Decker-Petty, he comes in, he's only given up 1 of these runs. The other is charged to Anthony Gubitosi, so it's a difficult situation for him. He was thrust into a difficult spot.
He had bases loaded right away, and his first pitch hit the foot. Brayden Dowd.
At this point, it's kind of an opportunity for a reset. Get out of the inning, give your offense a chance to come back up. The Indian offense has been clicking today. So Brayden Decker-Petty just looking to try and get out of it.
2 outs on the board. That one gets over 2 more. Moore makes a nice throw on it from third base. Gets out of the inning, though. 4 runs scored by the Trojans, starting to cut into that Hoosier lead. Indiana still leading 12-7.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Decker-Petty didn't quite wrap that hand around it, and it just kind of popped out of his hand.
Covarrubias trying to get one. Making a play was Cerny, can't flip it over. It looks like that error is going to send Grudzielanek home. Cerny just tried to flip it to Malamazian. Flipped it right over his head. And active running by Grudzielanek again cuts in the lead, and now just a 4-run game here, Zach.
Yeah, that'll go down as a fielder's choice. Probably the wrong choice there from Tyler Cerny. He had the option to flip to second like he did, or he could have just got the out at first and made it 2 outs with runners on second and third.
Runners on first and second now. Another designated hitter coming in for the Trojans. It's Andrew Lamb, making only his 5th appearance of the season. Hitting .375 in this contest, but on a smaller sample size, has 3 hits. And Zach, again, these are moments coming into this back third where Indiana had such a big lead, and all of a sudden, 1 swing away from 1-run game. Lamb takes a swing at that one, 0-2.
Right now, if you're USC, Joe, you have the tying run on deck. That's how much the comeback is alive and well. If you're Indiana, you're just looking, again, throw strikes. You can't let these big innings happen with the walks, the hit by pitches like we've seen.
That one's dropped by Hanley. Umpire's immediately going to go to review.
So, Joe, the situation that happened is that one was lined right to Hanley. Hanley dropped it, so there was no out on the catch. Are they trying to say there was somehow some sort of infield fly? I'm not sure, because Hanley dropped it, stepped on first.
Here we go.
So you see here, Hanley drops this ball. He didn't catch it. So he steps on first to get the batter. That's the out of the batter, and then he tags the guy on first base. That would be out number 2, but the umpire right away signaled safe. As we get the official call now, 2 outs, runner at first,
2 outs,
and runner at second. Yes.
It's going to wrap up the inning.
Essentially, the umpire thought that Covarrubias got back to the bag when the tag was applied, which I'm not sure how he saw that. He was standing right there, but he was clearly leaving towards second base. It was an awkward play. Everybody, I think, assumed that Hanley would catch that on the fly.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Take that first game against UCLA, which is a rarity. UCLA has not lost a lot of games at home this year, but fell in the final 2. And then at Penn State again, they had a rubber match opportunity after winning the second one. As Hedges, that one's off the scoreboard. Ethan Hedges goes yard again. It's a 2-run game.
His second of the ball game, Ethan Hedges visits the scoreboard. As you mentioned, that was a rocket. 101 off the bat. 408 feet out to left center field off the scoreboard. Get another look at it. That's middle. And if a guy that talented like Ethan Hedges, he's not going to miss that very much. And this is a point of the game now. Indiana, they're looking for 6 more outs. You're up by 2 runs. The high leverage guys are gone. Gilly is gone. Siebold is gone. No Drew Burr this weekend, and Indiana looks like they're going to make a pitching change. It looks like Trey Telfer might be the guy out of the bullpen.
RBI double, brought in 2 back in the 6th inning to bring this game just a little bit closer. First pitch of Telfer's afternoon is a ball, 1-0 count.
It's where he's been got a little bit so far this season to begin his career. 5 walks to 4 strikeouts for Telfer this season, but he's only given up a run in just 1 of his appearances.
That's it. Over into right center field. Routine play by Dickerson. And 1 of 6 outs on the board for Indiana. Jack Basir marching his way out to the box.
I mean, all bets are off right now, Joe, for Indiana. They're just 5 more outs to get. And again, I can't overstate the importance of this series. Indiana cannot afford another weekend loss in the Big Ten.
That's a nice strike there by Jack Basir down the left field line. That's going to be an extra base. Basir turning on the wheels. It's to second safely. And a double by the junior.
Joe, it was the 5th inning. It was 12-3. Is that just a nice rip? Staying down on that one. Low in the zone, keeping those hands through the zone. But again, Joe, it was 12-3 in the 5th inning. And now all of a sudden, USC is marching the potential tying run up to the plate.
Cade Higgins, 0 for 3 on the day, 2 strikeouts, 1 out on the board. And that's Jack Basir at second. 1-0 count for Higgins. The senior experienced right fielder for this Trojan squad. Higgins, this is his 3rd stop of his collegiate career. Spent his first 2 seasons at Arizona State, and then went back to his hometown of Las Vegas, where he spent 2 years at UNLV before grad transferring over to USC for maybe a change of scenery, change of competition.
Not a change in weather, though.
Not a
it's
change
nice
in
all
weather.
3 of those
it's
places.
It's nice, it is. A lot of sun, a lot of dry. Prior to this season, Higgins had 129 career games played over his 4 years. That one's popped up into right field. Wiggins able to get under that, collecting the second out. Basir finds his way back. So 2 outs on the board. Bryce Grzelnik, who had a single just an inning ago.
This is the more favorable matchup here for Telfer, right on right. An opportunity to get out of the inning.
See what the freshman can do. Gave up the hit, but 2 outs. Good pitch right there on the off-speed, 0-1.
That's what you're looking for out of these young freshman pitchers for Indiana. If you're pitching coach Dustin Glant, you're looking for those secondary pitches. If you're coming to play college baseball, especially at Indiana, you have the fastball. It's those secondary pitches that set you apart. Can you keep hitters off your fastball?
Grzelnik finds that one into left field, and that's going to drive another one in. Basir reaching home on the RBI single from Grzelnik. Tying run at first base is Bryce Grzelnik. To take the lead is Maximo Martinez. And Zach, this game is turned on its head.
And now you go from having the tying run up to the plate to the potential go-ahead run up to the plate. And again, Indiana's remained very active in that bullpen. Just making sure they have guys up, but as it stands, this is Telfer's inning to try and get out of. It's a tough spot to put a freshman in. Not only the weight of the game, but the weight of just what this means for Indiana's season.
That one's just grounded over to Malamazian and Decerny for the final out. So couple extra runs, 3 by the Trojans. It's a 1-run game heading into the bottom of the 8th. Some drama in the Big Ten. We'll be back for the Hoosier Batters.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
And swung on and missed on the off speed. 1-1 count.
That pitch is working for Telfer right now.
Outside of the hit, which really was just into not anything crazy, Moore just wasn't able to make a great throw on it. Telfer's been strong. That one low.
And it's a tough spot to be in because as a pitcher, you're always telling yourself, just focus on the guy at the plate. But obviously the tying run out there is out there on second.
Looks like Telfer's been trying to pin him inside too. 2-1 for Dowd. It's swung on and is foul. Oh, that was close. Quick call there by the first base umpire. That would have for sure scored Covarrubias and probably sent Dowd at least to second.
Well, sports and baseball especially is a game of inches, Joe, and that's exactly why right there.
2-2 for Telfer and Dowd. They're having quite the battle here. Freshman pitcher, sophomore batter. Telfer takes a moment. Pitch clock is reset. Pitches in, and that's swung on hard by Dowd and is gonna be fair. Home run to take the lead. Brayden Dowd. USC leads 13-12. Not even he realized it was fair.
Comeback complete, Joe. 10 unanswered runs. And that was a rocket. The only question about it was it fair or foul? And that one just, again, we talked about a game of inches. Just fair inside that foul line. That is the swing of the season up to this point for USC.
Brayden Dowd with a massive 2-run home run. Takes the lead, sends Covarrubias home. Ethan Hedges up to the plate. It's going to be a conversation.
This is smart here from your veteran catcher, Jake Stadler. You've got a true freshman pitcher on the mound. He just gave up the lead on a loud and a long 2-run homer. Go out there, calm him down. The message at this point, you go from protecting the lead to protecting the deficit almost. You can't let this one get more out of hand if you're Telfer on the mound.
Try to keep it at 1. Telfer. Throws a strike. 1-1 count on the off speed. Ethan Hedges watching that one go. Similar to Dickerson, it's hard to find. I think those are your players of the game either way. Both with a pair of home runs, both with 5 RBI. Hedges gets a chop that Malamazian can't get clean, and he's going to be safe at first, and Malamazian looks like he is in pain.
You're left having to scramble and cover some extra innings and some extra outs because Grable couldn't go as long. You're missing Drew Burr. Of course, you had to use the likes of Gillies, Siebold, and those guys yesterday. Indiana kind of pitching from behind these last handful of innings as far as just trying to find guys that can go get you outs.
That one is popped up into the infield. Malamazian looks like he's going to be the one to make the call. Gets the out, 2 outs down, 1 to go. 13-12 is the USC lead. What a comeback it was.
You're exactly right, and we talked about how do you come back in a game like this? It's chipping away. 4 runs, 1 run, 3 runs, 2 runs. That's how the Trojans have come back in this game.
Getting their guys on base as well. It was solo shots in those first 3 innings, or first 4 innings, the first 3 runs that they got. And Indiana had that huge lead because they had a snowball inning like the 6th. But USC has battled.
And Vogel's a guy, he's had an interesting season. Obviously, this is just a second appearance. So he was a all-freshman team selection last season. 21 appearances, 2.31 ERA. He was great for Indiana in that kind of makeshift bullpen the Hoosiers had last season. He just hasn't necessarily had the opportunities this season.
0-1 count here for Jack Basir. Swinging on that one.
We should note for Indiana in the bottom of the 9th, 4, 5, and 6 due up. Jake Hanley, Tyler Cerny, and Hogan Denny's spot in the lineup.
So still quality hitters, especially Hanley, who's mentioned it so many times just in this broadcast alone. Exploded onto the scene. The first order of business is get out of this inning. Don't allow any more runs if you're Indiana. And Jack Basir looking to now add some insurance on their end. It was the bottom of the 8th you were mentioning how Indiana needed to add insurance, and now USC with a chance. Maybe put the nail in the coffin.
Just been a consistent approach by USC. And
they never got down.
We talked about it. The word for Indiana from Jeff Mercer was inconsistent. For Andy Stankiewicz, it was capable. And USC is showing they are more than capable right now.
It's tipped. Basir's battling this one, 0-2. Vogel trying to give the Hoosiers a fighting chance, only down 1. Looks like he got him picked off. Jacob Vogel. Smart play.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
For Malamazian, up to hit, tying run at first base, winning run at the plate. Looks like there's going to be a pinch runner as well for Indiana.
Cole Decker.
Cole Decker into pinch run.
And what a story this would be if you're Indiana. You got a freshman. This would be the story and how this season has worked. Indiana all season long has relied on their freshmen, especially on this side of things at the plate. A freshman in Hogan Denny gets the hit to keep the inning alive. A freshman now up to the plate and Cooper Malamazian a chance to further keep the inning alive. And then, oh, by the way, there's another freshman on deck in Will Moore.
Going to be a meeting with USC pitching coach and some of the members of the infield with Ethan Hedges, just making sure, trying to get out of this inning. 2 outs, Cooper Malamazian, Cole Decker at first to pinch run.
And again, this is not a usual or a typical freshman class for Indiana. This guy up to the plate right now, Cooper Malamazian, is less than a week removed from a 6 RBI game he had against Bellarmine earlier this week. Indiana's looking for its third walk-off win of the season.
4 days removed from that. Well, this guy can hit if he needs to. Well, he needs to.
This would be Indiana's third walk-off of the season. Had one against Northwestern earlier this year. Now is TJ Schuyler. But now it's up to the freshman.
Hedges versus Malamazian. This is that first one, 1-0 count. Again, it's Decker over at first. 2 outs, USC leads. Swings on it. Finding that one is Martinez, who gets it over to Covarrubias, and that's going to wrap it up. USC coming back from down to 9. It was 12-3, 10 unanswered runs, 5 scoreless innings the Hoosiers had to close it out from 5-9. And USC will head back to California, winners of 3 consecutive Big Ten series, Zach.